So first I will talk about education 4.0 that is very much required for employability aspects. So as you know, education 4.0 is a desired approach to learning. Okay, so how actually you have to make your students to learn that aligns itself with the emerging fourth, or now it is called fifth industrial revolution. Okay, and this industrial revolution basically focuses on smart technologies, artificial intelligence, robotics, all of which now impact our everyday life. So now for universities to continue to produce successful graduates, they must prepare their students for a world where there is a cyber physical systems that are prevalent across all the industries. So now, what do you mean by that? This means that teaching students about this technology as a part of curriculum and changing the approach to learning altogether and utilizing this technology to better improve the university experience. So now, how you are preparing for evolving industries? As we know, the cyber physical system, in the sense when the physical systems connect to the cyber world, it in totality it becomes cyber physical systems, because sensors connected to mobile and you get all the data on the cloud, and from there you fetch all the information that becomes a cyber physical systems. So like driverless cars are an example of cyber physical systems. Okay, so they are actually steadily becoming more integrated into various industries, and they inevitably affect the skill requirements of the employees. That is very important. So now, therefore, in majority of the universities, we are talking about critical thinking, we are talking about design thinking, we are talking about computational thinking, we are talking about, so these are all some of the very important aspects that will make the students to think in a different way and to formulate a solution, or to formulate a process of getting a solution for a real time problem. So these are all very important nowadays. These are all actually now they are becoming freshman engineering courses. What are the freshman engineering courses? Like critical thinking, computational thinking, then design thinking, and so on. So the research by McKinsey Digital, they revealed that due to the fourth industrial revolution, 60% of all occupations could potentially have at least a third of their activities automated. So in 2016, the World Economic Forum produced a report exploring these changes, and they predicted that by 2020, at that time, now we have already passed, more than a third, more than a third desired core skill sets of most occupations will be compromised of the skills that are not at crucial to the job today. You see now robots are intruding everywhere. You see now chat GPT is intruding everywhere. You see now driverless cars are becoming new norms. Okay, and some of the soft skills they claim will soon become indispensable, to include complex problem solving, social skills, and process skills. So some of the soft key soft skills they climb will soon become what? Indispensable, that include complex problem solving, social skills, process skills. These are all some of the skills. So now what is the new approach for the learning? So now we have to align our teaching learning methods with the skills needed in the future. Universities can be sure that they are successfully preparing their students for the fourth industrial revolution. And one of the method of doing so is to encourage, what do you say, the accelerated remote learning. So you cannot avoid this remote learning, which is the idea that the students will learn theoretical knowledge remotely using some digital means, while they ensure practical skills are still learned in face-to-face model. Theory will be learnt in digital means. Practical will be on face to face. Okay. So there is something called Scale Up 1, which stands for Student Centered Active Learning Environment for undergraduate programs. And it describes a place where student teams are given interesting things to investigate, while other instructors roams around, ask questions, sending one team to help the another and asking why someone else got a different answer. Like that, there should be more of such kind of things. So we may see students assessed instead by analyzing their learning journey through practical and experiential learning based on the projects or field works. Of course, the biggest change we are likely to see as a part of Education 4.0 is the deeper fusion of technology into the teaching process. The ultimate purpose of utilizing this technology and adopting new methods is to place the students at the center of the education process, and we have to shift our focus from teaching to learning. So now how do we adapt to new realities? So now higher education institutions are moving towards a more personalized way of learning. By utilizing data and tracking student performance, universities will be able to identify struggling students and provide optimized learning strategies to suit their needs. And Education 4.0 embraces this advance in analytics and uses it to treat each student as an individual, understanding that everyone's learning needs and desired outcomes will be different. So there have also been talks of entirely customizable degrees, whereby student does not have to pick just one or two subjects to study, but instead can select modules from different programs. So finally, for example, the Oxford professor of higher education, Simon Marginson, believes that as long as they retain a fixed curricula, flexibility makes other institutions look of lower quality. So yet, the new approach to program structure is likely to create more versatile, well-rounded students who can adapt themselves to various career options, something that will be extremely valuable in the future. So now, regardless, in order to produce the graduates who are prepared to take on the future state of employment, so university must evolve and accept the changes to some traditional processes that are inevitable. So now there is a say, if we teach dance or music in the way we try to teach the engineering, In an unbroken 4-year course, we will end up with only theory and no music or dance. Now, when we study music, we start to practice from the beginning and we practice for the entire time. Okay. So the industrial revolution, if you see, the first industrial revolution was talking more about the mechanizations in 1780s, that is on industrial productions based on machines powered by water and steam and so on. Industry 2.0 talks about electrification, where there is a mass production using assembly lines. Industry 3.0 talks about automation, that is automation using electronics and computer science. Industry 3.5 talks about globalization, that is offshoring of production to low cost economies. And Industry 4.0 talks about digitalization, introduces the introduction of connected devices, data analytics, artificial intelligence technologies to automate the processes further. And finally, Industry 5.0 talks about the future personalization, that is called fifth industrial revolution, or Industry 5.0 will be focused on cooperation between the man and machine. Very important. As a human intelligence works on harmony with cognitive computing, by putting humans back onto the industrial production with a collaborative robots, and workers will be upskilled to provide value added tasks in production, leading to mass customizations and personalization for computers customers. So now, before I go for this Industry 4.0 ecosystem, which talks about cyber security, cloud computing, big data, advanced manufacturing systems, sensors, 3D and 4D printing beyond, logistics 4.0, nanotechnology and advanced materials, robots, autonomous vehicles, mass customizations, Internet of Things, and so many are there. Now, how do we go? I will just see, there is something called Gartner's hype cycle. Let us see, every year it gets published. 2024, what is the hype cycle? So we will not worry about the sponsored events. There is a Gartner's hype cycle. So now Gartner's hype cycle, hope you are seeing this. This is called 2023 Gartner's hype cycle. Are you able to see this? The emerging technology. Every year it comes. They fit into 4 themes. They have what they have done. They have the 4 main themes of the Gartner's hype cycle 2023 were emergent AI, developer experience, pervasive cloud, and human-centric security and privacy. Okay. 4 innovation leaders evaluate the business technologies. These are all the hype cycle. Please see. The hype cycle talks about, hope you are, see here, whatever is there in blue, this will take 2 to 5 years to come to the plateau of diesel scope of enlightenment, whereas those who are in blue, dark blue, 5 to 10, in triangle, more than 10 years, and in less than 10 years, this one. So now you see GitOps, generative cybersecurity AI, it will come in 4 to 5 years. Then cybersecurity mesh architecture, then augmented FinOps, neurosymbolic AI, post quantum cryptography. This will come within 2 to 5 years. Causal AI, AI simulation, then graph and data science, then cloud development architectures, reinforcement learning, value stream management, then homomorphic encryptions, then internal developer, then WebAssembly, then AI Prism, cloud out of edge, API, generative AI. Yeah, so please see the kind of, so these are all emergent AI. So the critical technologies in emergent AI are AI simulation, causal AI, okay, then federated machine learning, graph data science, neurosymbolic reinforcement learning. Then you have a developer experience called Deva AI augmented software engineering, then API centric SaaS, then GitOps, okay, internal developer portals, open source program office, then pervasive cloud, then augmented FinOps, then cloud development environments, cloud sustainability, then cloud native, cloud out of edge, web assembly, and so on. Then in human centric security, generative security AI, homomorphic encryption, post quantum cryptography, and so what these are all 2023. Similarly, 24 also it is there. 24 hype cycle for AI it has come. Hope you are seeing this. It has been published in June 2024. So, for example, all insights if I get business insights. So, this is what the report. If I want to show you the report of Gartner's hype cycle, 1 minute. Gartner hype cycle 2024 image. Please see, this is the Gartner hype cycle for only AI in 2024. And all will come within 2 to 5 years, not even 5 to 10 years. Only something called digital work hubs and fortune worker and super apps, digital well-being, guided attentions, collaborative content workspace, and this one. Whereas these are all, please see, in AI itself there are a lot of things that are actually coming up. So this hype cycle will predict what will be the future technologies for next 3 to 4 years or 5 years. So everyone should ensure that your students will be aware of this Gartner's hype cycle, and they do projects or whatever, you guide them accordingly. Okay. Now there is a 6 drivers of change in work. So in every workplace, the students have to sit extreme longevity. People are living longer. By 2025, the number of Americans over 60 increased by 70%. Then the rise smart machines and systems. The technology can augment and extend our own capabilities, like workplace automation is killing the repetitive jobs. Then computational world, increase in sensors and processing makes the world a programmable system. The data will give us the ability to see the things on the scale that has never been possible. Then new media ecology, new communication tools require media literates beyond the text, like visual communications. Media is becoming more vernacular. Then superstructured organization, social technologies drive new forms of production and value creation. That is, social tools are following the organizations to work at extreme scales. Then globally connected world, diversity and adaptability is at the center of operation. The United States and Europe no longer hold the monopoly on the job creation, innovation, and political power. So now please see, to do this, what is taught and what is learned. What is taught is the formal curriculum, and what is learned is a hidden curriculum. And one tool to think about the student experience is the notion of hidden curriculum. See, please try to understand the aspirations of the Generation Z. Earlier, we have few distractions which are controllable in nature, like TV, music, and other things. Now, the ubiquitous mobile phone has changed the rules. Then, the reading habit has inevitably developed, at least to medium level. With video streaming, news, sports, and Twitter, anything over a paragraph is daunting. Hands-on parental involvement in learning was that time now drastically reduced. Institutions inundated with more responsibility. Homogeneous educational experiences across the institute, different models of teaching across the schools and colleges, distracting for average student. Then clearly drawn career paths, now the boundaries across the disciplines are blurred. Then limited, mostly reliable, formally published information. Now there is an information overload, often unverified, often deliberately inaccurate. Then there is a face to face interaction dominant, whereas here there is a virtual interaction dominant. Application rare, mainly earned through significant effort and achievement. Here, application is ubiquitous, leading to skewed perceptions of the self. So now we have education 4.0 and 1.0, where centuries of experience with memorization, where education 1.0 talked about centuries of experience with memorization. Education 2.0 talked about internet enabled learning. Education 3.0 talked about consuming and producing the knowledge. Whereas education 4.0 talks about empowering education to produce innovation. Okay. These are four. Education 1.0, centuries of experience with memorization. Education 2.0, internet enabled learning. Education 3.0, consuming and producing the knowledge. And education 4.0 talks about empowering education to produce innovation. So now education in one, there are certain, the meaning is in education 1.0 it is dictated, in education 2.0 it is socially constructed, in education 3.0 it is socially constructed and contextually reinvented. Technology is confiscated at the classroom door, digital refugees in 1.0. It is cautiously adopted in 2.0. It is everywhere in 3.0. Teaching is done teacher to student in 1.0, teacher to student and student to student, progressivism in 2.0, and teacher to student, student to student, student to teacher, people technology people, co-constructivism in 3.0. Schools are located in building bricks. Here it is in a building or an online, or here everywhere, thoroughly infused into societies, cafes, bowling, allies, works. Now parents view schools as daycare. Here, it is a place for them to learn. Teachers are licensed professionals here, but here, everybody and everywhere. Hardware and software are in schools, are purchased at great cost, now available at very low cost. Industry views graduates as assembly line workers, now industry views graduates as co-workers or entrepreneurs. So now education 1.0, during the ancient to middle ages, education was imparted as a on person to person basis and thus limited in scale and informal in nature. So education 2.0, the invention of the printing press allowed masses to get access to basic education and brought in the culture of scientific inquiry. Whereas education 3.0 is the emergence of internet and IT changed the mode of delivery, providing the technology platform to learn. So in education 4.0, the learner will always be at the center of education ecosystem. Learning at the university has also from peers, industry, society at large. So what are the challenges for workforce? Rapid change of necessary qualification, ergonomical improvement through the use of robots, creation of jobs for high skilled workers in the areas of planning, configuration, and maintenance of new technologies, extension of low skilled work through the use of robots and assisting systems, extensive control of and monitoring of workers' behavior and performance, increased expectations regarding the individual's flexibility. Okay. So there are five I's of learning in education 4.0. One is called imbibing. That is internalizing the basic concepts. You have to internalize. Then iterating, practicing the fundamental skills rigorously. Then interpreting, talking facts from study and applying them to different situations with adaptive alterations. Then interest, developing enough curiosity about a subject so as to dwell deep and create further body of knowledge. Then innovating, like think differently and come up with original concepts and build innovative ideas, products and services. Okay, imbibing, iterating, interpreting, interest and innovating. So in imbibing, you will internalize the basic concept. In iterating, you practice the fundamental skills rigorously. In interpreting, the taking facts from study and applying them to different situations with adaptive alterations. Interest means developing enough curiosity about a subject so as to dwell deep and create further body of knowledge. Innovating means think differently and come up with the original concepts and build innovative ideas and products and services. So first, imbibe from different sources. The boredom sets in easily for today's students. There is a need to infuse excitement from visual and oral inputs. Use multiple sources. The internet is your best friend. Films and experiences. Then change source material year after the year, keeping the curriculum at leading edge. Then iterate through the fun. Gamify test that run them as competitions. Subject championships as teams evaluated through the year. Redefining the assignments as key challenges where more and more elements of the knowledge can be synthesized. So, gamify the test, run them as competitors, subject championship as teams evaluated through the year, redefine the assignments as challenges where more and more elements of the knowledge can be synthesized. Then, interpret from student teams and give open-ended projects involving sports and other avenues. For example, while teaching economics basics, let the student do a project on valuation models for football or kabaddi players. Then interest. Cover one part of a concept in a class. Get a group of students to deliver the remaining part. Different group of each concept. So this removes the stage fright and makes them willing participants to innovate. Go cross discipline. Groups of teachers amalgamate the subjects to craft year-long projects with presentation month like this. So the education paradigms that must change to implement the education 4.0 include education paradigm, that is the empty container paradigm. Learning occurs individually, computers interface with thinking, and requirement of basic knowledge. How do we learn this? Every know we how much we remember. There is a verbal learning, there is a visual learning, there is an action learning. So if you participate in activity, it implies that you learn almost 100%. If you simulate the activity, you learn almost 90%. If you teach the activity, you will learn around 70%. You watch the demonstration 50%. Watch a moving picture 40%. If you read only 10%. So now there is a complexity in our research and teaching activities. Okay. What are the complexity? Increasing diversity among students. They are from multi-ethnic background, multicultural background, full-time versus vocational background, multilingual, and the omnipresence of mobile devices and social media, modular study programs, then a variety of available settings, formats, technologies like e-learning, blended learning, inverted classrooms, speed teaching, etc. Then growing demands in terms of studyability, employability, high scores in all kinds of rankings. A rapid progress in virtually any discipline, constantly producing new knowledge. Then emergence of cross disciplinary problems related to the fields of research. Then the pervasive real-time availability of any conceivable information, often in edited formats such as tutorials, presentations, complete courses, and so on. And there is a pervasive impact of ICTs in all the aspect of life. Massive increase in ICT usage. 1.2 billion personal computers, 1.6 plus billion internet users, mobile access, 1.4 billion telephone line users, TV sets. Major impact of ITCS in education, economic, government relations, and cultural. There is a data or analytics tsunami is about to hit in the education sector. So now the education problem, what is the self-education? There is a problem of self-education. What we must use contemporary methods and models of teaching and learning as a transdisciplinar model, problem and research based learning, incorporate in the model how humans are learning, use brain based technique, develop cognitive and social competencies for teachers and students. Neuro education refers to creating scientific interventions whose purpose is to impact brain structure so there is a positive outcome such as increased intelligence, improved memory, and a better ability to pay attention. So teaching is not successful without active involvement on the side of students. This is called neuro education. There is a brain based technique. It will take 3 minutes to actively start. Within 6 minutes, you can show a small demo exercise. 4 minutes, you can do have a feedback discussion. 3 minutes, what next, how to retain. So introduction, you have a lot of subtopics, and finally, the working memory can stay activated for only 10 to 20 minutes for demanding the task. And the feature of e-learning, you have MOOCs, massive open online courses which will allow millions of people to take some courses once from anywhere. Then gamification courses will include games, challenges, interactive elements, opportunities to develop strategies and concepts, and immediate feedback and characters with distinct personalities. Then you have a mobile learning. Courses and learning objects will become accessible on mobile devices that will allow anyone to share. Then social learning. This is another very important thing. Social media will be more integrated in the learning environment, like Facebook, LinkedIn, and many other things are now involved in preparing materials. Then personalization. Teachers and education will implement more personalized approach to teaching and training. Then wearable learning. Technologies like Google Class and other wearables tech devices will become so readily available to premediate the learning environments. So the whole modern enterprise learning, earlier 90s it was traditional computer assisted training, in 2000 it was e-learning era, in 2005 it was blended and informal learning, then collaborative and talent driven learning. They formalize the informal learning, collaboration, and talent management by design. So these are all some of the things. So what are some of the mega trends? The student will work in peer to peer networks, So our organizations are open and structurally liquid. They will be hired or laid off on demand or work as free agents. They will have to compete for employment on global market. New skills and competencies will become more important, such as non-linear thinking, social, like infrastructural, intercultural skills, self-management, and self-competence. So there is something called rethink your build your strategy around the platforms, design for customers, rise your technological acumen, innovate rapidly and openly, learn more and more from your data, adopt innovative financing models, focus on purpose, not products, be trustworthy with data, put humanity before the machines. There is a new growth engine, please say. It is also called Labor 4.0, which is actually talking about next generation automotive, smart electronics, agriculture and biotechnology. There are a lot of things. Like we are moving from traditional farming to smart farming, traditional SME to startups, traditional services to high value services, unskilled labor to knowledge workers, buy technologies to make technologies. There are a lot of priorities for innovation like smart city, medical hubs, water management technologies, low carbon society, food innopolies. There is always something called in ESCAR, robotics, aviation logistics, biofuels and biochemicals, medical hubs, digital. There are a lot of clusters for innovation and startups like food, agriculture and biotech, health and so on. Like what to do and how. These are all lot of issues are there. So earlier labor skills were more on complex problem solving, coordinating with others, people management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, service orientation, judgment, active listening. And now 2020 it is on emotional. The two things that it has changed is emotional intelligence and cognitive flexibility. These are all the two things that has changed from 15 to 20. Other things are still there. Okay. The skill for tomorrow that we need for fourth industrial generation is new media literacy. That is ability to critically assess and develop the contents that uses new media forms. Okay. Then virtual collaboration, cognitive load management, social intelligence, computational thinking, transdisciplinary design mindset, cognitive load mindset, novel and adaptive thinking, sense making. Okay, these are the five things. So the analytical skills are interpersonal skills, the ability of realizing, information processing, ability of changing and learning, critical thinking like communication, messaging, initiative and self-regularization, information literacy, creative innovation. Then problem solving like collaborating, productivity and efficiency, media literacy, adaptability, learning to learn, decision making, landing and responsibility, digital citizenship, flexibility, research and development, ICT procedure and concepts. So the 10 key skills that are required as we know. Okay, sometimes what seems very negative or challenging event puts us in alignment to greater purpose. So these are the 10 T skills: complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. So now education 4.0 talks about the knowledge of degree discipline. So all these 10 things now, practical and psychomotor skills, interpersonal and social responsibility, ethics and professionalism, communication and leadership skills, analytical and critical thinking skills, lifelong learning and information management, then management skills and entrepreneurial characteristics. So this is a glimpse of future learning. These changes point the way forward the diverse learning ecosystem in which the learning adapts to new child instead of each child trying to adapt to the new school. Okay. So the modern learner will be more distracted, he will be more impatient, he will be overwhelmed, he will be okay. So therefore you have to ensure that he has been taken care properly. So now what is education 4.0? It is anywhere, anytime. It is personal, flexible delivery, peers to mentors, why, where, not what and how, practical applications, modular and projects, student ownerships, educated but not evaluated. He have to evaluate, don't examine him. Okay. So there are now trends. Like what are the trends? How, what, when, where, and why. So which has a diverse time and place, personalized learning, free choice, project based, applied experience, data interpretations. Exams will change completely. Students ownership, mentoring will become more important, and so on. So the student, there is an improved student engagement, improved learning outcomes, career success and pathways, intervention and remediation. The academic institution improves student retention, maximize student success, resource optimization, business intelligence report, and curriculum auditing. There is an example of virtual immersive teaching learning. Tell me, I will forget. Show me, I will. So there you have to break down the classroom walls. The future education will be with additive manufacturing. So now what universities need to do? You have to instill 4 C's into the student: communication, collaboration, and creativity. You make programming and ICT education a compulsory subject. Develop educational content in collaboration with industry. Reform content and methodology of education via digital. Have a top people resources to lead global industry engagement. Create new business trends through reform of higher education. Then industry 4.0, government, industry, and university research. Now you have to design the curriculum with strong linkages and exposure to the real world, with learning methods delivered as a student experience and in-class learning, while the conceptual program delivery is through blended or online methods. Similarly, you have to develop flexible learning programs with multiple entry and exit options. You have to invest in technology-driven flexible curriculum feedback and redesign the model for real-time learning validation and course correction suited to individual learners. Recognize out of class learning done through certifications, work experience, and experiential learning at any time. Develop blended learning models and advanced credit systems, including credit from MOOC competitions. Integrate life skills into curriculum through integration with real world stakeholders such as industry, society, and entrepreneurs. Offer digital media based collaborations and peer to peer learning tools. Similarly, you have to do research, foster the collaborative models with global experts from academia and industry for research, develop multidisciplinary and applied research capabilities through adjunct and industry track faculties, promote universities as a local community focused center for research with tight linkages with local industry and society for region. Then offer inside joint research opportunity for small and medium enterprises with limited research infrastructure. Invest on faculty training focused towards developing facilitator mindsets and pedagogy, and develop continuing professional development programs to support the development of digital literacy skills among the academicians and staff. Build a group of champion academicians coming from different departments who are leading the way in the development of digital skills or new innovative teaching technology techniques utilizing technology. Train the faculty for adopting technology as a medium of teaching, design, and delivery, including refresher training trends. Developing learning analytic solutions and facilitate faculty to use them for curriculum development. Then again, partnerships. Partner with industry and local society across all aspects of education value chain. Develop curriculum, teaching, MOOC, and faculty partnership with global universities to develop offerings for liberal curriculum programs. Invest in professional development platforms that foster partnership with individuals and alumni who could act as mentors and facilitators. Develop innovative models to partner with digital and social media platforms to enrich the learning process. Co-opt industry trainings in situ programs that can be designed by industry and delivered by university. Prepare a technology-led strategy where technology drives not only the student life cycle but also the entire functioning of the university. Develop off-campus learning centers to provide global exposure to learners. Invest in modern and high performance networks, building campus backbone, improved wireless connectivity, and a managed network service for a lot of departments. Make access to information and systems as open and accessible. Revisit existing policies and procedures. Then governors and leadership, like work with regulators to create policy interventions, provide a thrust of internationalization, build leadership in the form of chief technology digital officer to implement strategic roadmap, build social media leaders in the diversity in the university to establish interwoven communication networks, develop digital media strategy. Again, funding. Develop technology driven university strategy, building low cost models such as outreach, delivery, student acquisition, industry engagement, or alumni connect. Create delivery models to monetize the innovative technology assets. Explore the use of premium models for knowledge assets and programs of the university. So again, you have to recalibrate the programs offering to remain relevant. You have to get the horses for the courses, develop innovative learning life cycles and programs that span over 10 to 20 years, roll out the framework for competency-based admission systems to create education pathway for lateral entries. So how well I am learning is very important. Like how can I teach others? How does this help me to learn things? How can I use same tools in different situations? Knowledge is, for example, I can teach others. The reflective competence. Knowledge is how does this help me to learn other things? Tool set is I can use the same tools in different situations. Skill set, I can use my skills to learn that I like and I can help others to learn. Then mindset is I love learning and sharing what I learn and see myself as a lifelong learner. Similarly, am I so good at this now? Like I know that this so well, I don't have to think about it. This is knowledge. I can use this variety of tools to help me to learn. Tool set. I am really good at using these skills for learning. I can help others to learn. That is the mindset. So I know that or can do that now. Conscious competence. This is reflective confidence. This is unconscious competence. This is conscious competence. Then I don't know that. This is called conscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. This is called unconscious incompetence. This is called organic learning. Try to understand this. This is a very important thing. Organic. There are 12 principles of modern learning: compile, contribute, combine, and change. Okay. And there are modern self-directed learning: correlate, compare, catch, and cooperate. Modern social learning, which includes connecting, communicating, collaborating, and learning. So, this is basically, I just wanted to talk about education, which is very important that you need to adapt. to the new requirements and finalize it. Any questions?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
So it was like quite a beautiful explanation that you gave to us, and especially I would like to ask you a few examples of the, like you use the word interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
So just by giving some simple examples, particularly in our academics, the field of academics, how can we apply our interpersonal skills?
See, interpersonal, see, for example, the I always tell there are a lot of extracurricular activities you conduct. Okay, it may be a performance on the stage, it may be a debate, it may be in another club, dance club, or it may be, these are all what this in these activities, the students, you will try to exhibit the interpersonal skills of the student, ability to communicate with others, the ability to mingle with others, the ability to work with others, the ability to talk to others, the ability to convince others. Okay, and the ability to work in group, this is what we actually require. These are all some of the interpersonal skills. How sportive you are, and how you are open to others opinions, how you are open to the others ideas, how you are actually, you can manage the group. Okay, these are all very important. Now the universities have to teach only this, so therefore the focus now shifting from in-class activities to out-class activities. You should have more of extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, clubs. Okay, then you should have a lot of, as I told you, even your the classroom should change. You should move from theater style to conference style, where 2 3 students sit together, they work there itself, they will complete the problem and they will give you the solution. Okay, you should impose some activity based learning, project based learning. So nobody will listen to a 45 50 minutes lecture nowadays. The students will there is no patience for this generation, unfortunately. So people have to understand their problem also and try to, again, as I teach you, the education 4.0 talks about making students to learn, not teaching students. So you have to come out from teaching to make them learn. Teaching is one directional. Making students to learn is bi-directional. Okay. So therefore, interpersonal skills can be actually exposed by lot of club activities, extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, and so on. There you can actually develop a rubric for it. You can assess it. You can give credits for them. Like the way we are now giving credits for NSS activity, NCC activity, you can give credits for extracurricular activity, you can give credits for co-curricular activity, you can give credits for group activity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. As I told you, teachers are more experts than hard workers. You should know as I told you, your job is not to teach as per the lesson plan. You have to actually, like 38 hours, 42 hours lesson plans are not the way now people have to think. People have to think of how to make students to learn. You propose some activity, make other good student to teach the average or below average students. You make there itself a peer group so that one will teach the other. You always don't think that I only have to teach. Come out of that. There are so many good students who can teach much better than you or me. So use them as a resource persons in your own class. Make a group, but monitor them. Your now job is not teaching. In the fourth generation education, if you want your students employable, you are a facilitator. You are a moderator. You are not a teacher. You are not a lecturer. That is, your job is more of moderating and facilitating. Okay.